Okay, so I don't have I'm just running the audio off this iPad I'm recording on, so the audio won't be great for this part of it. I'll do my best. I also haven't really put together a whole script, so I'm just kind of winging this, but this is a video about connecting a quality microphone to the Wisdom app. So it's specific to the Wisdom app for those that might consider this option. It's not necessarily the only option, and it's a little bit more expensive, but it's one way to look at it. So it starts with this device, this Zoom P4 mixer and recorder, audio interface and recorder. So there are a ton of videos about this device in general, and we'll talk about a lot of the features. I'm going to just talk about the minimum basics that you would need to know or use to use this with the Wisdom app, and how it would work with the Wisdom app. So the first thing about this device is that it runs on two AA batteries, but it doesn't run very long. So you definitely want it's got a USB charging port right here on the side. It's got two USB-C type ports. One is for charging, one is for interfacing. We'll maybe briefly talk about that, the interfacing one later. But in order to run this off the charger instead of the battery, I'm going to plug into that charging port and plug in here. I mean, it would work with the battery, but it doesn't last very long. So you've got this extra cord for the power, and I kind of apologize for that. But that's the first device. And so what we're going to do is we're going to connect a quality microphone into the USB, the Wisdom app on the phone. And this is going to require essentially 4 components or 3 components plus this device and then your phone itself. So I'll start with the microphone end. So in this case, what we're talking about is an XLR type mic. In this case, I think these mics. This is a Samsung. I think that's pronounced Samsung. Sorry, I never get it right. But it's not Samsung like the same people that make. It's Samson, S-A-M-S-O-N. Sorry about that. S-A-M-S-O-N. Samson Q2E, I believe, Q2U. So this mic is actually fairly low. It's a fairly affordable mic. It's pretty good quality. It's a dynamic mic, and it has USB and XLR. But so for our purposes today, we're talking about an XLR mic. So this is a mic that has this type of jack, this XLR port, and this supports an XLR cable. And that's going to plug into the back of this Zoom recorder device in port 1. This Zoom recorder has 4 ports, 4 channels, and you could connect multiple mics, and we can talk about that a little bit for one mic. But so the first step, we'll put this mic in here, into this port 1. So that's our XLR mic. We'll be using that as our microphone for the Zoom app. And again, that's this Q2U mic, and any XLR mic, dynamic or condenser, and if it is a condenser mic, you have to switch this over to the other port. This is a dynamic mic, that's for 48 volts. This mic is a dynamic mic, and we don't need that. And then, so that gives us step 1. That's port 1, that's our microphone. And then how you're going to interface that to your phone, well, another component that you need is headphones, and these are basic headphones. You might want fancier one than these. So I'm not going to talk about the brand or what it is, but this is just a very basic headphone I happen to have in the cupboard. So it's very basic, regular old headphone jack. Looks like that. You know what these look like. So any headphones will work for this. I'm going to wear it and put it on here. And this plugs in. There are places for 4 headphone jacks at the bottom of this P4 Podtrak device. So I'm going to plug my headphones in there, and then I'm going to. And now, so that's the part that gives us sound. If I wanted to test my mic right now, I could turn this device on and do that. And I'll probably cut in some audio from the actual mic so you can hear the quality of this mic. This Zoom device has a little LCD screen, as you can see, and when it boots up, this is what it looks like. And I can actually hear myself now because I have the mic turned on. I can turn the mic off. I have the mic turned on, and so I've got the feedback. I can hear my own voice coming into that mic. and you would play around with the gain to get it where you want it. And you can again look online for a lot of that. I'm going to set it to 5 or 6, and that's going to be fine for what we're doing today. And you'll see the quality will come out fine with that. So now my microphone is connected, but now what? I'm not connected to Zoom, or I'm not connected to I'm not connected to the Wisdom app yet. So the Wisdom app, I'm going to set my phone aside so it's not a distraction for now. So in order to do that, this Zoom device has on this channel 3, it's set aside, it's a special kind of device. I can either, through this switch, I can either connect a regular microphone over here, or I can connect or it has this feature that, so instead of plugging in a mic, I can connect, it has this slide switch, yeah, that looks like a smartphone. It's got this port over here that you can plug in. You can see it looks like it's got a little icon for a smartphone here. And you can see that you can plug in a smartphone into this side port. And this is what's called a TRRS connector. So it's the 4 rings. So in other words, it's not just a headphone jack, it's a microphone and headphone. And that's called TRRS, and it's got the 4. So you get a cable, you've got to get the kind that has 4 rings, not just 3. Now we finally bring our phone into it. So in this situation, my phone doesn't have this port, this mic headset jack by default. It's just got the lightning. So I've got to get a quality, preferably probably the Apple one, but the quality one that will work, that will support the TRRS mode. So it supports headphone, headset, in other words, microphone and headphones in the one port. So then that adapts into my lightning over here. And now I've got this device, the phone, on port 3. I've got my microphone over here. And if we go into the Wisdom app as normal, a regular, say someone else is speaking, I can go here and I will now hear them in my headset. Now you can't hear them because they're coming out my headset right now. But so now I've got the Wisdom app connected through this device, through the headset here, the headphones here, and the mic is there. So now if I record something, and what I'm going to do is, or if I go onto a live, I'll be able to connect through this microphone. And so what I can do is I can go into a post and let's say just do a test post. I'll call it Podtrak test. And we'll see if that goes on Wisdom and if I get kicked off the Wisdom app for doing a test post. So now if I hit record here, I'll record this onto this device. Oh, I guess another component you need for this device is an SD card. You do need an SD card for this device. So that way it'll record onto the card. But so if you didn't want to record separately, you could simply just do the recordings like we always have on. You don't have to do recording it unless you have a reason to record separately. But just to show the quality, I'll record this so you can hear it, and it'll come out when you can hear what I'll cut this into the video so you'll hear what the real audio sounds like. So I'm here just doing a quick test. I'm using the Zoom Podtrak P4 device with a dynamic microphone plugged in through it on the Wisdom app. So this is just a quick test of that setup. Now I can play that back again. You won't hear it because it's going through this system. But what I can do for a quick test, or to show you that I did record it, I'll disconnect here, and now it'll play out the regular iPhone speaker. So I'm here just doing a quick test. I'm using the Zoom Podtrak P4 and let's see, we can prove that this microphone was being used by doing the scratch test. So let's plug this back in and make sure it's in there. I'll be able to do a quick test if it is there. So now if I do this and I set the recording, I can do the old scratch test to prove that it's recording from this microphone. So I'll be very quiet. And now I'll play that back in my headset. You won't hear this, but I'll hear it. And but now if I disconnect it from this system and hit play, you'll hear that the scratch test occurred. That did record that scratch test. Scratch test and nothing else. That's much louder than it would have been just picking up that little faint sound from all the way from the phone mic. So we know that was the mic, that this is the mic that was recording. So anyway, that's to keep it very short, and just get the basics of this device, of how you would use this device with the Wisdom app. You need, like I said, sort of 4 components. You need the mixer and recorder, the microphone and cable, and then a TRRS cable to connect to your phone, and possibly an adapter depending on your phone, to go into the analog TRRS port. And that's that. Now I will mention one other thing that this device can do, and a reason why this is not the cheapest way to do a setup like this, right? There are other simpler ways for some, if that's the only thing you're doing, and I'm sure Daryl with the dashes has provided some of those ideas, but this is one alternative, is to use a mixer slash recorder like this, or an interface and recorder like this. And I'll tell you one other feature that this can have from beyond what I'm shown. So if you also wanted to have a second person in the same room with you, you have room for another microphone here, even 2 if you wanted. Because you can't use port 3 now because we're using it for the phone, but you could add 2 more microphones and have 3 people in the same room plus the phone. And another thing you can do with this device, I mean, there's a lot more you can do with it, but another potentially common thing that you might want to do in this scenario is this 4th port can plug in a mic, but it can also be used with this other USB port. So we won't talk about that in detail in this video. Let me know if you'd like me to talk about that. But you could connect this to a computer and have that computer on a Zoom call or whatever else, and have remote people on some other app, or connected with some other app. Now, I know Wisdom, I think, doesn't particularly encourage that kind of behavior, but it would support something like that through this port 4. And the other thing about this device you may have noticed, there's no computer here in this setup. So if I'm just doing this, got my microphone and I'm using the app, I don't have any computer involved, so it's simpler, right? I don't need to connect to a computer or run any software. It's all built right into this device. Secondly, if I did have 2 people in the room, you do have that, like I mentioned before, you have that option for a second, or even, like I say, a 3rd mic. So you could have 2 or 3 people in the room by having multiple XLR mics in the same room. So that's another advantage of this setup beyond that. And then and you probably wouldn't, if your application was Wisdom as the only thing you plan to do, this device may be overkill, but this device is quite capable. And so it can be for portable recording, right? I can throw all this stuff in a little bag and take it somewhere, do a remote recording with multiple people. I can, like I said, I connect this to the computer so that I can have multiple things happening at once with multiple mics. So, you know, this is a pretty capable device. So you might not buy this. It's, I think, about $150. You might not want to buy this device if it was only for, although it is a good way to have a quality mic, you might not buy this device if your only need was, to connect to Wisdom. But I wanted to walk through it, and like I said, there are a ton of YouTube videos out there about this Zoom Podtrak P4 device. Obviously, there's a lot of videos about what kind of XLR mics to get. This one is about $69, I think, on Amazon, this Samson Q2U. And these cables are, I think, I don't know, I can't remember what the cables are, maybe $20 or something like that. Probably get them cheaper. And so, that's all stuff you could get. But so it's not the only way to do it, but it's one way to do it that does work, and it's very reliable and also pretty capable. And this device is a recorder as well, so you could record the whole session separately and then pull it off the SD card, or you can connect this to your computer and drag those files into your computer to use those, say, in another editor, GarageBand or Audacity or whatever, Audition or whatever other audio player. And also this one, by the way, is all audio only. Obviously, this is a solution when you're working with audio. So anyway, that's why I thought I'd throw this video together specific to Wisdom. Just shows the minimum basics you would need to use this XLR mic with the Wisdom app. And that's it. Thanks for watching.